Yo, what is going on, guys? Back with another video. So this one is just going to be on what resources to start with if you are just starting out in sales. So if you're just getting into the industry, you're getting your feet wet, you're wanting to know where to start, what resources exactly I would start with if I was going into setting or sales in general, if I'm honest, but setting particularly from scratch. These are the resources I'd start with. I would primarily start with books. There is a lot of good sales information in a lot of good sales books that are available on Amazon. So I'd really start there to build a foundation and get an understanding of like sales psychology, what kind of questions to ask, the type of frame and mindset you need. And it gives you a good understanding of like not only what to do, but why as well we do it, right? So to start with, The Science of Selling. Now, this is a great book. The basic gist of this book is to understand exactly how the brain actually makes buying decisions. So no guesswork. Learn how to ask questions that create trust and credibility fast. Now, trust and credibility is so necessary in sales. Someone is not going to buy from you, or someone is not going to, let's put it in an appointment setting scenario. Someone's not going to trust you to book a call, to set a call for them with a closer if they don't trust you. They're just not going to do it, right? It also teaches you how to use neuroscience to guide prospects towards booking without pressure. Master the psychology behind why people say yes. This is crucial. You're really understanding the psychology behind sales now, really getting an understanding of like human behavior and human actions. Get a proven structure for calls that boost conversations. Stop winging it. Build a science-backed framework for a discovery. Right now, a discovery, basically what a discovery is to understand your prospect, the person you're speaking to, their wants, their needs, their desires. I'll go into that in a little bit more detail in another video. Learn how to overcome objections without sounding pushy. So objections is a massive thing in sales. You're going to get them. It doesn't matter what role you're doing, whether you're setting, whether you're closing, whether you work for a metal company, whether you do door knocking. Objections are going to happen. So learn how to overcome them without sounding like you have an agenda. This is super important. If you have an agenda when you're trying to objection handle and the person on the other end of the phone can feel that, it's just going to put them off even more. It's like a bad smell. They're just going to want nothing to do with you. Also improving tonality, pacing, and message delivery. Another really crucial part of sales. When you're speaking to someone, you need to sound confident. You need to sound like you know your shit. You know what you're talking about. So, and having tonality as well. So sounding normal and not sounding completely monotone the whole time. Build trust quicker using 6 whys buyers need answered. Also super important. And set higher quality calls that closers actually want to take. So all of this stuff is within this book. It's a super important book, very good book. You can see here on the left. It's got 4.5 stars with almost 500 ratings. I would highly, highly recommend that you guys jump into that. Now the next one, Gap Selling by Keenan. Now this is probably one of the best sales books I've read, one of the most important sales books I've read for a lot of reasons, right? Now, this book really teaches you how to build real urgency by showing the gap between where the prospect is and where they want to be, right? A mentor explained it to me once, like 2 sides of a river. You've got one side where they want to be, where they their wants, their needs, their desires, their 10.0 version of themselves, and where they currently are is on the other side of the river, right? You need to basically position yourself as that bridge to get them over there, and you building a bigger gap of that river will make them realize like, hey, I need to get to work on actually like building this bridge, if that makes sense. So it will also enable you to ask sharper questions that uncover real pain, not just surface level fluff and bullshit. Really ask good probing questions, get the deeper reasons why, get a deeper understanding as to why these people not only like want this thing on the surface level, but they really desire it, and then they have a hunger for needing it. Humans don't make buying decisions based on logic. It's backed by emotion. It's always backed by emotion. So there's always a ripple effect that is causing them to decide to make a decision. Basically, what they're dealing with currently and what they always tell you about is like, basically their current situation, but they never explain to you how that's affecting them, how that's impacting them, why they want to change. Those are the most important parts that are actually going to push someone to make a decision. right? Stop being a yes man and start controlling the frame with authority. Super important. If you don't have control of your call, you're fucked. You're not going to be able to direct them with confidence. You're not going to be able to steer the conversation where you want to go. The call's just captors straight away. Also, qualifying harder, faster, and stop wasting time on weak leads. In sales, your time is precious. It's super important because you only have a finite amount of energy per day. You want to make sure you're reserving that energy for people that are basically qualified and worth the conversation, right? And that's not to say that people who aren't qualified aren't worth the conversation, but you don't want to be burning energy on those people when realistically, like, there's no end result for them with what you offer, right? Understand how buyers actually make decisions. Now, I basically just went over this, but this is the most important thing in this book. They don't make decisions based on logic. It's always emotion. So you need to understand that on a deeper level rather than just understanding, the sentence, right? You need to understand that on the level of why that happens. And like I said, deeper meanings behind everything. You learn how to sell problems, not products. Also learn how to sell solutions. Solutions is why no one ever buys something for the product. It's because of what the product does for them, what they get from using the product, not from just the product itself. It will also teach you to stop info dumping and start making your questions do the selling. When you get really good at sales, when you get really good at appointment setting, you start asking such good questions that the prospect actually starts to realize themselves that they actually need this thing. They need to make a change. It's not because you're telling them to do it. It's because your questions are so pinpoint sharp that they realize that it's something that they actually need to do. It's a necessity. They can't go on further. Become a weapon in triage calls, knowing exactly what to dig into. This is super important, and I'll go into this a little bit more in another video, but majoring in the majors. And what that basically means is like making sure that you're asking questions around what is important to that person, not just like fluff, right? And this is another reason why I'm a massive advocate for scriptless selling, because every call is different. You want to position yourself as a guide, not a desperate rep trying to book a call. So same thing, that we've gone through. It's all of this. This book really helps you build confidence, really helps you be an authority figure. And it does that by giving you the right tools and questions to be able to position yourself as an authority figure. And you start setting appointments that actually close, not just filling calendars. So this book, I would definitely, I'd read all three of these, but this one is probably number one on my list as a must. It's a great book when you're just starting out in sales. I'd probably read this one. ASAP. Cool. Influencing Human Behavior. Now, this is another kind of psychological based book. This is also a phenomenal book. It was written over 100 years ago. So it's dated as shit, but the information in here is fucking timeless. So basically what this book will teach you, and this was recommended to me by a mentor, so you will learn how to guide decisions by speaking to core desires, fears, and identity. It's kind of similar to what we were talking about with gap selling, like really majoring in the majors and not majoring in the minors. Understand why people say one thing but do another, and how to read between the lines. Again, super important, not just about why they say one thing, but like what is also behind that. What do they mean? What are they not saying? Right? How to read between the lines. Build real trust without sounding overly friendly or salesy. It's kind of like I was saying to you before. If you're speaking to a prospect and they can sense like salesy behavior, it's like a bad odor. You just like, I've taken cold calls before from people and it's overly pushy, overly salesy, and it's just almost made me freaking cringe. Like you don't want to be that guy. You're never going to get anywhere selling that way. Get inside the mind of your prospect and stay one step ahead. So very psychologically based, super important to always be one step ahead on the call, always know your next move. It's like a game of chess. Use ethical influence to shift behavior without pressure or pushiness. Overcome resilience by understanding the root of hesitation. This is going to help you with your objection handling. This is going to help you with pre-qualifying a lead, things like that. Master the subtle cues that make people open up and take action. sharpen your ability to lead conversations with confidence and control, and create buy-in by aligning with how humans actually process decisions. Finally, stop relying on scripts and start mastering real influence and persuasion. So this is probably the third one I'd read on the list. This is a little bit higher in terms of like, it's a little bit more advanced, right? I definitely read the other two first, but this book is a freaking must if you're going to take sales seriously. This one is also a must, right? It's not a hugely popular book, as you can see, 4.4 stars, 71 ratings. So it's not like a hugely known book, which is kind of interesting, right? Because I'm recommending it to you right now, but it's not something that's super well known about. But I promise you, this book gap selling is more about like why we do things, how you build the gap, and putting your mind into that sort of frame. This book is actually really getting you to the psychology behind those questions, the psychology behind how you do those things, what your prospect is thinking during those times as well when you're building the gap. So again, another super important book. Now, there are thousands of resources that you can go and look at online to do with sales. There's tons. Some of them are extremely outdated. Some of them aren't. I would definitely start with these three books if you are just starting out, if you're brand new to sales, or even maybe you've done sales a little bit before, but you haven't done appointment setting. I would definitely jump on these three books, read through those, get a deeper understanding of sales psychology, get a deeper understanding of building the gap, get a deeper understanding of how to run a good discovery, what to ask, what questions to ask, tonality, point questions, things like this. These will give you really good benchmarks for you to get a good knowledge of sales psychology. So that was all for today, guys. I hope that was informational. If you guys have any questions, any comments below, hit the subscribe button and the like button, and I'll see you guys on the next one.